So it's a game you're interested in. I found something for you to dote on.
Alright, what's up, friends? Welcome to the complete set review for Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Yee-haw! Alright, we're going over all the cards in the set. For green, constructed, limited. You missed white, blue, black, or red, check out the YouTube. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, support the content, please. It costs you nothing, and it helps me out a ton. Alright, hit the like button, leave a little comment, say, hey Jim, you smell bad. Whatever, I don't freaking care. Leave something, alright? Because it helps out a ton. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. And of course, we got 10 new brews coming up in 2 days. 2 days, 10 new brews. All right. Gonna be a lot of fun. A lot of fun brew runs in this set, which is super, super cool. We also got Bronze and Mythic happening. It's gonna be on Tuesday evening. It's 9 p.m. It's my bad. But 9 p.m. on Tuesday evening. Bronze and Mythic will be a lot of fun also. So the whole new set cycle is here. We also got the Command Fest Dallas coming up as well. I'll be there. Everyone on the screen will be there. It's gonna be a lot of fun. You should be there too. And I'll be hanging out there. Going right to the Pro Tour. Gonna be great. All right, lots of cool things happening here. And we should do our set review. Let's just do our thing, right? Oh, yee-haw. All right, so let's get right into green and start with Aloe Alchemist. Freaking Plant Warlock. 2 mana for a 3/2 uncommon with trample. Great these days. It's crazy. Whenever it becomes plotted, a creature gets +3/+2 and gains trampled on a turn. Plot for 2. This card is insane. What the hell is this card? Like... Did they just, like, add 2 to every number by accident? What is going on here? 2 mana for a 3/2 trample, which is, like, obviously just fine. And if you plot it, a creature gets +3/+2 and gains trample on a turn. So you can just, like, plot this on turn 2, pump your 1-drop, get it for 5 or something, and then just play it for free on turn 3. Wow. It's obviously sorcery speed, but, like, holy moly. This card is just good. I mean, like, this card, it probably isn't good enough and constructed, but it's close for what looks like a draft uncommon. That's pretty impressive. And then in limited, this card's just like, wow, boy. Yeah, this card's got. I mean, yeah, Picnic Ruiner is a card, right? You know, turn 2 Picnic Ruiner, turn 3 this thing, attack for 10. It's pretty good. So, but yeah, pretty powerful card. Damn, pushed to the max here. Mythic uncommon, limited for sure. But yeah, that's crazy. Ankle Biter is next. This is what I want to see. A nice simple card. You know, French vanilla. 1 mana, 1/1, Death Touch. That's it. No backside, no whatever transform abilities, no other abilities. Just that's it. Just nice and simple. This card's always been a good limited card. Great defensive card. Nothing more to say. It's a good limited card. Beastbound Outcaster. 2 mana for a 3/3 uncommon human druid. When it ETBs, if you control a creature power 4 or greater, draw a card, and it's plot 2. Another mythic uncommon here. Card's just excellent. So you pot this thing on turn 2, and then on turn 4, you play a 4-drop, and then just play this thing and draw a card also. It's insane. Good body. You can just play it as a 3/3 if you need to also, which is great too. Yeah, another awesome uncommon here. I think less of a chance in constructive than the first one was, but still just like really high rate. Good stuff. Betrayal at the Vault. Spoiler alert. 6 mana for an instant. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each of 2 other target creatures. So it has to target. So it's not up to, it's 2. So it has to have 2 targets. But still very powerful, obviously. This is the ability to kill 2 things in green. Not a common ability you see in green usually, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, this is just a good limited card. It's very clunky, obviously. And you're on the risk of, like, playing this thing and they bounce in response. You just get blown out. But still pretty powerful. I think that, like, costing 6 and requiring 2 targets are both two pretty big downsides. But the upside here is pretty high, too. So, you know, higher is higher reward kind of card for limited. Bristleback Sentry. 2 mana for a 3/3 defender. Control creature power 4 raider. It can attack as a defender. This card's like a reprint. I've seen this card like 5 times already. Fine limited card. You know, obviously a good blocker, can attack later as well. Not the most exciting card of all time, but certainly reasonable enough. If you can get a counter on it, can attack, which is kind of cool too. But yeah, this is a reprint. We've seen this card before. Bristly Bill Spine Sower. I haven't seen this card before. 2 mana for a 2/2 legendary plant druid. Landfall. Get a +1/+1 counter. 5 mana, double number +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. Can I get some F's in chat for Vine Lasher Kudzu? I want a laptop playing Vine Lasher Kudzu. You know what that card was? 1/1 for 2. Landfall. Get a counter. That's it. That's all it did. This card is that plus like 10 different other abilities. Now, obviously, this card's insane in fetch lands, which we don't have in standard except for the New Capenna lands, which aren't really as good. This could be a sideboard juke for like the New Capenna land combo decks. This could be a card for plus and plus one counter decks also. You know, there's still some counter stuff in the format alongside Ozolith, things like that as well. This also puts counters on any creature too. Oh my god, I didn't realize that. Whoa, my god. So many things. So this card is obviously a busted limited card. Just an unbelievable limited card. Constructed, definitely playable. You know, it might even see play in older formats where like there are fetch lands. Realistically, where like, I mean, even in modern, like play this thing, play a fetch land, 2 counters here and there could be fine. Probably not good enough, obviously. But regardless, this is a very powerful card. There already is a lot of plus and counter stuff in standard. This plays well with that. Cards are good. Yeah, hardened scale stuff. Yeah, I mean, man, they push these cards so hard these days. Holy moly. Cactarantula. Sure, why not? 6 mana for a 6/5. Plant Spider, it's a common. It costs 1 less to cast if you control a desert. It has reach. Whenever it becomes target of a spell or ability your opponent controls, you may draw a card. I like this card a lot. Of course, deserts are a major theme in the set when it comes to the lands. They're not a major theme in the sense that, like, there are a bunch of cards that care about deserts, but all the common dual lands are deserts, which means they're going to be, like, you know, 3 of them in every deck, I feel like. So it's not going to be hard to get a desert at all, and there are also other deserts you can play as well. So this card will usually cost 5 in your draft deck, obviously. And a 5 mana 6/5 that, you know, if they try and murder it, you draw a card. It's pretty sweet, honestly. It'd be a lot better if it was like a death trigger to draw a card, obviously. But this card's reasonable. Being top end, this card's pretty good. Yeah, it's a fine card. Fine draft card. Colossal Rattleworm. If you ever want to see the difference between a rare and a common, here it is. Common, rare. Common, rare. Common, rare.
Waka, waka.
Here's the rare version of a desert creature in green. That's a 6/5. It costs 4 mana. It's a worm. It has flash as long as you control a desert. And it's got trample. And then also, if it's in your graveyard, you can pay 2 and exile it. And then rampant growth for a desert, which is pretty sweet. This card's pretty wild. The problem is, it doesn't really have a home, right? You know, on raw stats alone, this card's pretty messed up. But, like, what deck actively wants this card? If you're playing a ramp deck, you're probably ramping into bigger things anyway. And if you're playing an aggro deck, are you playing enough deserts? Kind of an issue too. And then, like, if you want the rampant growth, how are you going to discard it? So, like, there's a lot of ifs here, you know? So this is the kind of card where, like, it's got the numbers all over the place, but it just might never find a home. That being said, if it does, the numbers are here. This is a pretty powerful card for sure. So card's pretty sweet, you know. Yeah, it's just a cool card. You know, like, it's also a cool card if you can just mill it. You just mill it and rampant growth. That's pretty cool too. So, pretty cool card. A lot of stats. Absolutely busted and limited. But realistically constructed, I don't know. If you can find a home, sure. Dance of the Tumbleweeds next. 2 mana plus for a sorcery with Spree. Spree allows you to play extra mana for abilities. So you can spend 3 mana and get a rampant growth for a desert. Or you can spend 5 mana and get a XX elemental, which is the size of all lands you control. Or get 6 mana, we can do both. So, kind of a cool card. Obviously, the 3 mana rampant growths are not very exciting. But the fact this is also a threat in limited is kind of cool. This is like, you know, at its base, 5 mana 5/5, right? Which is kind of cool. And it can do more than that as well. There are also, obviously, cool deserts to find, too. So, pretty cool card. I think this is, like, a lot better than your average 3 mana rampant growth in limited. Can mana fix also as well, too. So, card's cool. Cool draft card. And, it's pretty sweet, honestly. Drover Grizzly. 3 mana for a 4/2 bear mount. If ever attacks while saddled, creatures you control gain trampled on a turn and is saddle 1. So once again, saddle is sort of like crew. but instead of making it into a creature, it just augments your creature. And saddle one's pretty easy. All these saddle cards play really well when you're on the aggressive, because you just play a new creature and crew immediately, like I've been saying. And this one's fine. You know, 4-2 for 3 is obviously fine. And then, like, on turn 5, you can just, like, play a new thing, crew, give everything trample. It's kind of cool as well. So, card's fine. You know, limited filler mostly, but, you know, not a bad card. It has 4 power also for your 4 power effects. You know, play the 3/3 that can't attack on turn 2. Play this on turn 3. Attack for 3. Reasonable too. So, important to know that you can only saddle the sorceries. You cannot do that on defense. Free Strider Commando. This is a common 3/3 for 3. A Centaur Mercenary. It ETBs with 2++ encounters on it if it wasn't cast or no mana was spent to cast it. So this has the plot ability also. Again, plot means you spend X amount of mana, put the card off to the side face up, and then on any future turn as a sorcery, you can play it for free. So this is a 3 mana 3/3 for 3, I guess, or a plot for 4 and 5/5 later, which is kind of cool also. To be fair, 4 mana on turn 4 to do nothing is rough. That is kind of an issue, obviously. But the option of it is really, really good. And then also, just the baseline of being a 3/3 for 3 is fine too. So, why does it have spurs? Because it likes to ride horses. What the hell's wrong with you people, right? Jeez, come on. Can't this centaur ride a horse? What's the problem? Leave him alone. Just living his life, all right? Good draft common, but not a good constructor card, obviously. Free Strider Lookout. I'm going to catch some flack for this, I think, but I'm going to call it Best in Show. I had a really, really hard time picking a card Best in Show in green because there's so many cards that seem good, but just like rely on other things to be good. It's hard to know if they're going to find a home or not. But this card's pretty sweet. 2 mana for a 3/3 reach. Human Rogue. Whenever you commit a crime, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tapped. Rest go on the bottom only once a turn. So this card's just like a land machine. You know, you play this thing, you kill their creature, get a land. You know, and then arrest them, get a land, etc., etc. So there are plenty of ways to commit crimes. Obviously, green is by far the worst crime color, whereas, you know, like black is the best crime color. So, like, I don't know if there's going to be a deck for this card, but green-black's already deck. Green-black also wants to find more lands because it has the best creature land and wants mana to use them as well. So, like, got a lot of competition. I don't know if it will see play, if it's good, if it's bad. I have no idea, honestly. This card, I had a really hard time finding a card for green that I thought was best in show, but it is pretty powerful. Could also just be like a red-green deck. It could be in some other... I don't even know, honestly. Maybe there's a desert deck. Because, like, if you play this thing and just play a desert and ping them for 1, you get another land, which gets you more deserts. Could be a desert enabler also. I don't know. The card's powerful, has a lot of potential. I'm not really sure, honestly. Again, low confidence here, but look out. And obviously a great limited card, too. Full Steam Ad. 6 mana for a sorcery. Till end of turn, each creature you control gets +2/+2 against trample on the turn, and it can't be blocked more than one creature. Overruns in limited aren't what they used to be, because you just don't need this kind of effect to win the game anymore, because back then creatures sucked and now I don't. But still a pretty good overrun. You know, if you're an aggro deck in green, card seems pretty good. Solid. Giant Beaver. 4 mana for a 4/4. Vigilance. Whenever it attacks while saddled, put a ++ encounter on the creature if it's saddled it. Saddle 3. I mean, just alone. 4/4 Vigilance for 4 is just great in limited. It's like a super solid stat line. It's got a lot of upside too. 4 power is the important inflection point anyway for all your effects in red-green. Just a good common. Just good solid common. Not much more to say here. It's good. Gold Rush, mana for an instant. Make a treasure. Till end of turn, up to 1 creature gets +2/+2 for each treasure you control. This is just your kind of like your usual trick. There is treasure stuff in red, obviously. So this is like might get +4/+4, +6/+6 or something like that. But that being said, like, I don't know, this card seems a little iffy to me. It's like fine, not the most exciting pump spell. I don't know. Goldbane Hydra. Commander players going nuts over this card. Green X Hydra. Vigilance, Trample, Haste. EDB with X counters on it. When it dies, make X tapped I'm sorry, not X. Make a, sure, X tap treasure tokens for X's power. I think this card is a cool commander card, but for constructed play, I don't think this card's very good. We're looking at a 2/2 for 3, or a 3/3 for 4, or a 4/4 for 5. It's just never ever going to be well statted at any point in the curve, and once it's actually big, you just don't need treasures. So it's like, okay, you killed my 3/3 for 4, and I got some treasures. Great. So commander players, go nuts, have fun, do your thing. Constructed, I think it's pretty unplayable. Limited is fine. You know, you could scale up, certainly reasonable enough. But yeah, I think this card's kind of just whatever. Actually, next up is Hard Bristle Bandit. It's bandit time, folks. It's meant for a 1/1 tap mana of any color. Whenever you commit a crime, untap this only once turn. That's kind of awesome, right? So we have a mana dork is just good anyway, right? I mean, the multicolor green's been a deck in limited now for the last like 6 sets, I feel like. This does that really, really well. It ramps really, really well. And then if you crime, you just untap it and get a mana for free. That's insane. That's great, right? So this card's excellent. This card's really, really good. You know, you play a rule spell, untap it, get another mana, play a bigger creature. This card's great. Bombin Common for green, Hard Bristle Bandit. Constructed, probably not. But I think this card's really, really cool. Intrepid Stablemaster. 2 mana for a 2/2. Reach, add a green. Tap to add 2 mana of any one color. Only to cast mounts or vehicles. Anything that taps for 2 needs to be looked at a little more closely. But there really aren't many mounts and vehicles or whatever. There are some though, and it's a thing to be aware of. Kind of look back and see what's in the format, so on and so forth. You know, a 2/2 mana dork for 2 is reasonable enough. So in the right scenario, this could see play constructed. But we'll see. For limited cards, great. Obviously, for this is an excellent mana dork in limited. But constructed, there are a few cool mounts that are expensive, and there are some good vehicles that cost a lot too. But yeah, great limited card. Fringe possible constructed. Next up is Map the Frontier, and I'm all about this card. I think this card's awesome. This is a 4-mana sorcery. Search for 2 basic lands and or deserts, put them in play tapped, then shuffle. And good old Explosive Veggies has been a playable card for a while. I won the Players Champ with that card, right? Yeah, that's right. This guy. And but being able to get deserts is insane, because there are a lot of good deserts. And when we get to our Carlos section, there's one desert in particular that really stands out here that helps a ton, which is a bounce land desert, which makes us into a 3-for-1, not a 2-for-1, which is awesome. And you get to have a little value, get to a little utility, which is cool also. So I think this card's surprisingly pretty good. That being said, it probably won't really make a difference until rotation and like Domain leaves the format, because like Domain's just too powerful of a ramp deck. But once the Triomes leave and some of the Domain cards leave, maybe a red-green desert deck could be a thing, which is kind of cool. So I don't know. We'll see. I think this card's really, really awesome though. I think this card's got a lot of potential if the deserts are good, and purchase cool. And Unlimited, not as good in limited, but cool card. Ornery Tumblewag is next. Another very good rare, but I'm not sure where it goes. 3 mana for a 2/2. Brushwag Mount. Beginning combat your turn, put a counter on target creature. Whenever it attacks while saddled, double the number of counters on target creature, saddled 2. So similar to your Luminarch Aspirant, kind of like keep pumping thing every turn. Again, there is a lot of cool counter stuff still in the format, also so on and so forth, which is sweet. And this can help push those things as well. It's adding counters and so on and so forth. So the card's good, but needs a home. What deck wants this card? Not sure, honestly. But power level's there. Busted limited card. Yeah, it's a good card. Outcaster Greenblade is next. This is a 3 mana for a 1/2 human mercenary. ETB, find a basic or a desert, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. As it gets +1/+1 for each desert you control. This card's awesome. Awesome card. In limited, mana fixer. You can find your deserts, find utility lands, gets bigger. And then also a great card with the desert matter stuff. Play 3 deserts, whatever, gets things bigger. Honestly, constructed, I think maybe I might have an outside shot if you're like, if there is some sort of desert deck, I think it'll be freaking huge. But love this card. Really, really fun card. It's just sweet. Just a cool card, honestly. Cool card, powerful, fun. Looks great. Outcast of Trailblazers next. Another good green rare if it's hard to evaluate. 2 mana for a 4/2 human druid. And this thing's got, when it ETBs, it makes a mana of any color. Whenever a creature, power 4 raider, another creature, ETBs, draw a card. Plot 3. So, play this thing, make a black, cut down their creature. Cool. Plot this thing. Play this thing on turn 4. Play a big 4-drop, draw a card. Cool. You can do a lot of cool things, but it is a 3 mana 4/2, which is not the most exciting card ever either. So, like, I don't know what deck wants this. You know, it's hard to quantify how powerful the mana ability is. You know, this can cast a 6-drop on, or sorry, a 5-drop on turn 4 if you plot it, but now you're, like, not doing anything on turn 3. I don't know, honestly. Again, pretty powerful card, pretty cool effect. I don't know if it'll have a home or not, but it is pretty sweet. Obviously, phenomenal limited card too, obviously, but yeah, another good green card that I just don't know what to do with. It is good with the green invoke. It is true. The green invoke, play this thing, draw 2 cards, pretty awesome. Yeah, I don't know. Is it green savior? We'll find out. Patient Naturalist is next. Great limited card. 3 mana for a 2/3 human scout. EDB mill 3. Put a land from the cards in your graveyard in your hand. If you can't, make a treasure. So this is the farmer card from Innistrad with a failsafe, just power creep again, where already a good card will often hit a land. But if you miss, you should treasure as a little bit of a you know, a back plan B. I'm still a little sick, folks. Or I'm powering through. Good draft common, obviously great. Just good card advantage, 2/3. Consolation prize. There you go. Thank you. Appreciate that. And yeah, it's a good card. Up next is Railway Brawler. Another pretty powerful green rare, but I'm not sure if it's good or not. 5 mana for a 5/5 reach trample. So decent stats, not great. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, put X plus some counters on it, where X is its power. So this doubles the size of a creature you play after it, but isn't so great by itself. You can plot it. So you know, plot this thing on turn 4, and then like turn 5, play this and a huge creature. That being said, like plotting on for 4 mana in constructed is like probably not a thing. So mostly just a limited card, I think. A very good limited card, obviously. But this card combos with the Calamity Galloping Inferno. It's pretty sweet, actually. You get to Inferno and then copy things and do things. That's pretty cool. It's pretty sweet. So it definitely has, you know, has some upside for sure. But what do you want to do with it? I'm not sure. So up next is Rambling Possum. 3 mana for a 3/3 Possum Mount. Over to attacks while saddled, +1/+2 on a turn. Then you may return any number of creatures that saddled to their owner's hand. So a pretty cool way to reuse your ETB abilities. Also just well statted. 3 for 3 can be a 4/5, which is pretty sweet. Saddle 1, good card. Very solid limited card. Probably not there for constructed unless there's some sort of a mount deck going on. But deck's good. Deck's pretty sweet. Card's good, I mean. Roush's Entertainer is next. 2 mana for a 2/2. Freaking jamming on that piano. Woo! Just powing away. So we got a Bear Plant Bard. 1 mana tap. Put a +1 counter on each creature you control at the end of the battlefield this turn. Obviously a great draft card. Just like a bear with upside, which is phenomenal. In limited, in constructed, again, counter theme. There's some counter theme stuff happening. Cool tokens, you know. But realistically, I think this card's like probably not there in constructed, but great limited card. Really, really good limited card. Reach for a Sky. 4 mana Flash Aura, +3/+2. Has reach. When it dies, draw a card. Obviously, an attempt to try and make the usual like enchantment pump spell. That's like going to give you your card back. But 4 mana of this effect is disgusting. It's just such a heinous amount of mana. So I think this card's just like wildly unplayable. But Rise of the Varmints. 4 mana for a sorcery. Create X 2/1 green varmint tokens, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Oh, cool. And then plot 3. That's sweet. I actually missed this card entirely in the first reading. I guess there's some graveyard stuff happening. There's some self-mill in green and black. It's a little bit of a sub-theme there, I guess. And obviously, if you make, like, 4 or 5 tokens here, it's pretty sweet. And obviously, you can do more than that, too. So, spider spawning-esque for all you Innistrad enjoyers. And this is going to be a really, really cool draft card. And then constructed, probably not, but super sweet draft card for sure. Smuggler's Surprise.
It's a trap.
Folks, I knew tooth and nail. All right, and this ain't no tooth and nail. It's a spree card, 1 green plus instant. +2, mill 4. You may put 2 creature cards or land cards among the cards, milled cards into your hand. +5, 2 creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. +1, creatures you control power 4 greater get hexproof indestructible in a turn. So this card is effectively a way to cheat out some big creatures, right? At a ridiculous cost. So for 6 mana, you can double Summoner's Trap, whatever that card is called, put in 2 things from your hand. It's hard to have 2 things anyway, right? And like, what are you going to put in? Traxa? Just cast it. Cost 7. So 6 mana, put in Traxa, and like, you just pay a land and cast it, whatever, cost 7. We have Cavern Souls, so on and so forth. So that's just not very good. It's not card advantage or whatever. If you pay the mill effect also, now we're at 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. So 8 mana to draw 2 and put in 2. That's like pretty bad also. Just cast the spell you want to get. Then it has like this weird like, save your big things effect, which is also kind of whatever. And then we got the mill thing. Oh, hello Cassian, how are you? And so yeah, I think this card is just like bad almost all fronts. The best part of this card is probably the 3 mana mill 4 draw lands creatures, but like that's not even good either. So I think this card's bad on basically all fronts. Play in a commander, put in your Emrakul, do whatever you gotta do. But yeah, this card's pretty bad overall. Trap card for the set is the old Smuggler's Surprise. Up next is Snakeskin Veil reprint here, but a really good one, honestly. This is like probably the best or one of the best versions of this effect. The 1 mana, put a counter, save your creature kind of card. Also important to note that it gets a counter, obviously, and counters are an important synergy piece. So, like, Royal Roll, like, might be better in some ways, but if you're playing a deck that cares about counters, then this card's better. So, cool card to have back. Just, there's some proliferate stuff in the format. There's obviously some possible and counter stuff in the format. So, card's good. Good in the Gruul deck. Definitely will see play for sure. Good limited card also. You know what it is. Seen it before. Nothing new. Spinewood's Armadillo is next. This is a 6 mana 7/7. Uncommon with reach. It's got Ward 3. You can spend 2 mana and discard this. Search your library for a basic land card or a desert card. Reveal it. Put it in your hand. Shuffle and gain 3. So very, very similar to what's that card? Herd Migration? Herd Migration. Obviously not as powerful of a top end card, but similar idea of just like, this is a big thing to play on turn 6. Also good to play early. This is a bonkers limited card, obviously. Just super, super great. 7/7 reach Ward 3 for 6 is great. And then early on, gain some life, get a land, get a desert, find a dual land, commit a crime, all good stuff. Constructed, no, but limited, great card. Spinewood's Paladin. 5 mana for a 5/4 common trampler. EDB gain 3, plot 4. Yeah, filler 5-drop. Not sad to play it, but wouldn't be excited about it. Get it late. Stubborn Burrow Fiend. 2 mana for a 2/2 uncommon Badger Beast Mount. It becomes salve for the first time each turn, mill 2 cards, and then it gets +X on a turn, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. So again, there is a bit of a graveyard theme here. So obviously a great draft card. Just like a bear with a bunch of upside, which is super cool. Gets big as the game goes on. Constructed, this is not the kind of effect that you want off of your like synergy piece. Like, it's not enough to pay off. But pretty cool card. It's also it's kind of an enabler to pay off at the same time, but not big enough for constructed. But still, a great limited card. Pretty cool. Throw from a Saddle. 2 mana for a sorcery. Creature you control gets a +1/+1 counter. Sorry, creature you control gets +1/+1 to end of turn. Put a counter on it instead of its amount, and then it deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. So just your usual bite effect. Good removal spell. It's a sorcery. These alternate between sorcery and instant usually. But card's pretty good. You know what bites do? They're good removal spells for green and limited. Trash the Town. I like the Artemis card. 1 green spree card, instant. +2, put 2 +2 plus counters on target creature. +1, give a creature trample. +1, to end of turn, creature gains. When this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw 2 cards. Pretty cool card, actually. You know, a pump spell that's permanent is quite powerful. Much more powerful and limited than a regular one would be. Because you get a bigger threat out of it, which is cool, too. And the fact this can spree up into trample and then also drawing cards is great. You could just like play this on turn 2, play 1 drop, play this on turn 2, draw 2 cards. Kind of cool also. So pretty sweet, honestly. And again, of course, for spree, you can mix up any of the things you want. You can choose different things. It does spread things out as well. You can target different creatures, which is kind of cool too. So that's pretty sweet too. So I would say this has like an outside chance in Constructed. Probably a little too win more in Constructed. But in limited, this card's great. Super solid card. Tumbleweed Rising. 2 mana for a sorcery common. Make it XX green elemental creature token, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control, with plot 3. So kind of a cute card. You can plot this, then you play your 5-drop, and then get a 5/5 immediately after it, which is kind of cool also. That being said, not a very good card. You can't play it on 2 mana, and then like plotting it's kind of inefficient either, or also. So, I think this card's, you know, limited filler for sure. Voracious Varmint, 2 mana for a 2/2 vigilance, common. Sack gets a disenchant, good bear. Just like keyword ability, flexible ability on a decent rate. Good bear, and then outside shot and constructed because these sort of like disenchanted creatures are reasonable sometimes. So, and then we get to our big score card. This is the bonus sheet that's supposed to be a aftermath set. These cards are legal in standard as well as legal in limited, and we got Ancient Cornucopia. 2 mana for an artifact, mana rock. Taps for any mana of any color. If you cast a spell, it's 1 or more colors. You may gain 1 life for each of that spell's colors. Do this only once a turn. That's a lot of words for a manalith, right? Not a very exciting card.
Still a piece of garbage.
Gain some life here or there, but for the most part, this is just a pretty bad card. You know, I guess if you're playing Constructed, you might play like a Niv-Mizzet up this, trying to gain some life and ramp or whatever, but the amount of mana rocks are not where it's at in Constructed. And then in Limited, I mean, if you need a fixture, I guess, but like, you know, this is a common power level card, not a mythic power level card, so whatever. Bristlebutt Farmer is next. That's a honky chonky boy. 4 mana for a 5/5 trample. EDB, make 2 foods, and then whenever it attacks, sack a food. If you do, mill 3 and put a permanent card among them in your hand. This card is very good, but suffers from the problem that like most green cards have, where it's just like, you know, not great against removal, bad against Shieldred, not sure what deck wants it, not really big enough to make a difference. You know, I think if you're like beating down with a 5/5 trample, you probably just want to kill them, not draw more cards. So like, you know, overall, might see play, I think, but like kind of fringy overall. Great limited card, obviously, just super insane stats, but another green rare where it's like, I just don't really know where this card goes. Bath Journey is a 4 mana enchantment. EDB, search the library for up to 5 land cards with different names, exile them and shuffle. And then every end step, choose a card at random and put it into play tapped. Kind of a cool card, honestly, because it does ramp immediately. So you get the immediate value off of it, and then keep getting more lands. Obviously kind of hard to control, and like I don't really know what Constructed deck would want this effect. You know, it's more of a commander card. But it's kind of cool, you know. And then limited, I mean, again, also it's not very good there either. You do get a lot of lands off of it, obviously, you know. That's actually pretty cool. In the Gates deck in Historic, or maybe even in Pioneer, a way to kind of keep popping out Gates. That's actually a really cool use for the card. I like that a lot. That's a possibility too. Yeah, the power level is reasonable, honestly. Where like, is just gonna get you 5 lands ramping out. It ramps immediately. Reasonable for sure. So cool card for sure. Gates is a cool idea. Like it. Sandstorm Salvager is next, and we got our sleeper card. Blade Splicer in green. 3 mana for a 1/1 Human Artificer. When EDBs, make a 3/3 Golem, and then 2 mana to tap this and put a ++ encounter on each creature token you control, and they all gain trample. So, 1/1 that makes a 3/3 is already reasonable, right? You know, there are ways to blink this or whatever else, which is kind of cool too. And then if you can, you know, blink it or do whatever else to it, that's pretty cool as well. If you have tokens already in play, if you can give a counter sign and give them trample too. So, you know, a lot of rate for not a lot of cost, which is pretty cool, pretty easy to cast. Great limited card, obviously. think this card's got a shot in constructed. Kind of some kind of token deck, some kind of whatever deck. I don't know. Kind of a weird green card, obviously, but you know, if Convoke wanted to splash green, cool thing there. Plays well with Pia. Like the artifact tokens from Pia are kind of cool too. So I don't know. You know, has a lot of potential. Hence why it's a sleeper card, and obviously busted and limited. Vault-Born Tyrant, 7 mana for a monstrous dinosaur, 6/6 trample. Whenever this or another creature power 4 greater ETBs under your control, gain 3 and draw a card. Whenever it dies, if it's not a token, make a token that's a copy of it, except if it's an artifact also. So 6/6 dies, make a 6/6 draw a card twice. Pretty insane boom boom. But the problem is, like, at 7 mana, we can get a Traxa, we can get a Tali, we can get Breach of the Multiverse. There's so many other big cards you can play for 7 mana. If this costs 6 as a 5/5, I think you might be talking here. But for the most part, this is just a limited bomb, nothing more. Very powerful limited bomb, obviously, but 7 mana is a lot too still. So pretty powerful card, but 7's a lot. That's it for green. Best in show, Free Strider Lookout. We got sleeper cards, Sandstorm Scavenger. Trap cards, Smuggler Surprise, Bombin Common is Hard Bristle Bandit, and we're all done here. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Support the content. Let me know what you think. Again, Tendy Brews on Wednesday. Then we got Bronze Mythic on next Tuesday. And that's the deal, folks. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next section.